Alright, good morning, Facebook family. This your boy, Mr. 65. Man, I had a little time, man. It came up on my heart, man, to just share a little something. We're working on division right now, moving on. But a lot of our kids are struggling with division. And the reason why they're struggling with division is because it's a couple ways that you can do it. When we grew up, parents, this is how we learned division. Standard algorithm. So we would take 346, put it up under our box, go here. We use our same common method, divide, multiply, subtract, bring it down. So I teach this way too. So I teach my kids, first off, you ask the question, can 6 go into 3? We know that's no. So we move on. Can 6 go into 34? The answer is yes. So I make sure they write their factors. We start at 5 because we're closer. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. So I know it can go into 34 5 times because 6 times would be a little too much. So our factor we're going to use is 5. This is how we learn. So now I know that I've done my division. I always make sure I put my number over the last number. Then I go to my next step, multiply. I'll multiply 6 times 5. We already know what that is because it's right here. We put out 30. Then we go to our next step, which is subtract. We're going to subtract 30 from 34, which leaves us with 4. Now we're going to go to our next step, which is bring down. We're going to bring the 6 down. Now that 4 turns into 46. And we're going to repeat the steps all over again. So now I ask, can 6 go into 46? Well, we know it goes into 36 6 times. Let's see. 42. 48 would be a little too much. So we know our factor is 47. It'll be 7. So we go through our steps again. 7 times 6, we already know it's 42. Check that off. Go to our next step. We subtract. We're going to subtract 42 from 46. Leaves me with 4. There's nothing left to bring down. So 4 becomes my remainder. Now, that's how we learned growing up, with a few more steps that I've added, that most teachers add. Cool little video I saw with the kids doing this. Nice little song that always works. This is another step that I teach my kids for those that struggle with division. It's a simple box method. So you take the dividend divisor. So I have 3 digits, 1, 2, 3, in my dividend. So that means I need to have 3 boxes. But if I have 3 boxes on top, I have to have 3 boxes on the bottom. My dividend goes in these boxes. My divisor goes on the side. We write our steps down the same. And this time I tell them to say, bring over, because you're going to bring the number over instead of bringing down. So we go through our same process. Can 6 go into 3? No, it can't. So we put a 0. Then we go to our next step, which is multiply. We're going to multiply 0 times 6, which gives us 0. Then we go to our next step, which is subtraction. We're going to subtract 0 from 3, and you are left with 3. So every time you have something down at the bottom, you simply bring it over to the next number. So now that 4 becomes 34. And we go through the same process again. Can 6 go into 34? Yes, we already know our factors. So just in case they don't, we start at 5. Gives me 30. That's too much. So I know my factor is 5. So we've done that. Put our 5 up top. Now we'll go to our next step, multiply 6 times 5. We already know what it is, which is 30. Go to our next step, which is subtract, which is 4. Now we bring over. And that 6, that's a little tight. Now that 6 becomes, now that 6 becomes 46. And we do our same steps again. We check to see. $48. Now, I know 48 is too much, so my factor would be 7. So my 7's there, check. Do my multiplication. We already know it's 42. Do our next step, which is subtract. 4. There's nowhere to bring it over, so it comes up and becomes a remainder of 4. So that's just another way that I teach kids to multiply, because it's a little different, and for some people it works better. So I don't care how they do it, whichever method they use, just be consistent with making sure you check off your steps. A lot of kids don't want to check off the steps. They just want to go through. I make sure they check off their steps, because if they ever make a mistake, they can go back and see what they didn't do. I make them write their factors, because that helps them understand what is what. It eliminates a lot of thinking. So it's just been a quick division lesson. Just wanted to share that with you guys, man. So y'all make it a blessed day and keep pushing. Church.